Hey, it's Mirella and today I'm going to show you how to do this rich, warm brown foilayage technique using all Kenra color. Now let's go ahead and get started. To start out with this rich, warm balayage, I'm going to pre-section her hair, going from the apex down behind the ear, and then with a V-section in the back. So this is essentially going to be a partial foilayage. She has never colored her hair before, and she's looking for just a subtle pop of blonding. So something super low maintenance that she doesn't have to touch up every 6 weeks. So this is why we're going to be going in with the foilayage technique. She wants to maintain a lot of the depth on her hair as well, which is why we're going in with the partial and doing some diagonal sections in the back. So I'm going to start out by weaving a slightly chunkier type of highlight. And then we're gonna tease this. And we're just gonna do light little push-ups. I just kind of want to take all of those hairs that are kind of growing in different lengths on the interior and just pushing those up out of the way. This is going to soften that line. And this is also going to give me a cleaner canvas right here as well. For this project, I'm using Beyond Bond at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 20 volume developer. I'm gonna insert my board, and I'm gonna make sure that when I paint this, I'm making sure to paint this towards the mid zone and down with saturation. And then I'm gonna just stroke up a little higher, that's closer to the face, and keeping it a little deeper on the interior. So essentially creating this V pattern within. So when this veils down, we're gonna have this beautiful drape of color that looks really soft and subtle. It's gonna have tons of movement, and it's going to aid in that really soft diffusion, so that way she has lower maintenance. I'm gonna add 2 back-to-back diagonals right here in the back section, with each of my sections having a 1/2 inch subsection. The reason why I'm going in a little wider with my weaves, so slightly chunky, is because she does have a lot of hair, and I wanna make sure that even with the subtlety that we're adding in, you're gonna have those pops of ribbons throughout the back. So I do want them visible. So the smaller these weaves are, the less visible they will be, and they'll get kind of lost in the amount of density she has. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So you can see on the opposite side, I'm keeping that lightener a lot higher, again, towards the face, and making sure to maintain that depth towards the back center. The key to getting a lot of blonding and lift out of really dark hair like this is to make sure you're saturating properly and having the right mixing ratio with your lightener. So I can't stress enough to use a scale so you have a lot of consistency, and always mixing up a fresh batch of lightener every 15 to 20 minutes is going to be key in making sure you get a lot of lift out of this hair. And of course, always make sure to saturate, and that's kind of why you see me pushing this brush back and forth, trying to really open up the hair. So making sure to brush in all directions is key. So now that I have the back side completely done, this hair right here is just gonna trickle right on over. I am gonna be adding a few pieces that will veer off into this zone, but that's going to be incorporated when we do the top section. For the front, I'm gonna focus on her hairline first, and we're gonna leave that top section for last. I'm just gonna take a diagonal section just to isolate that front piece. Now, something that I like about brunettes is they love to still maintain some depth around their face frame, even though we're adding in blonde. Because most of her hair is brunette, we want to still make sure that what's living right here along her face is brunette as well. So this is the frame to their face. So a lot of times I like to add in the highlights right behind that depth. So instead of highlighting right here on the face frame, I would probably only do this and highlight this hair if she wanted to be primarily blonde. But since she's primarily brunette, I'm gonna weave on the top of this section. So now we have some depth. We're still gonna have that pop of blonde, but this is her primary background. Our overall goal is to get her pretty light. So what I usually promise to my clients when they come in with virgin hair, they've never had any lightening services done, I like to just preface the appointment with, let's see how light our hair can get to, and this is, you know, our plan A, and then this is our plan B. So always remember to under promise and over deliver when you're doing any services on really dark hair that are trying to go a little lighter. I'm gonna add in one more diagonal section. And you can kind of see here, we got this first section here, it's like in front of her ear, and then this section we're gonna highlight so it's like right on top of her ear. For this section, I'm going to do exactly what I did in these back pieces, which is keep it a little higher towards the face and add that depth on the interior. So I want this to kind of cascade down, but I am taking my lightener up a little higher than I did in the back just because we're working towards this face area. So I want it to be a little brighter and a little higher. Now that I have both sides done, I'm gonna marry these two sections together by adding two back-to-back horizontal sections right here on her hairline. Our overall goal is just to create a really soft money piece. We don't want anything super contrast and, you know, big old chunks. So what I'm doing again right here is highlighting on the top. Keep making sure to maintain that brown background because we want a nice soft mixture of her natural hair along with the highlight. For this section, I'm gonna be using the Dreamweaver comb. I just like it because it is really easy to just go ahead and highlight, especially in a slightly larger section like this, and I'm gonna get tons of dimension. So right on her hairline, as well as still maintaining that depth that we want. And I'm still gonna tease this up a little bit because we wanna make sure this is rooted and living a little closer to that eyebrow to eye level. So you can see I'm leaving quite a bit of depth still. So when this veils over, it's gonna fall right at eye level. A quick tip is if you are using a shorter foil like this and it's around the face area, I'm obviously not gonna leave her to bake like this because this would be really uncomfortable. So a quick tip is just to tri-fold your foil. So make sure that this hair is not gonna touch this hair up here that we don't want lightened. So tri-folding helps prevent that color transfer since there's no lightener right here. And this comfortably allows for the foil to live here without it bothering your clients too much. So I'm just gonna add one more foil. What's really great about this technique and doing this technique on dark hair is you can really maximize the amount of brightness that you can get with minimal foiling. Again, making it really low maintenance for your client, but also getting that pop of blonde because we're maintaining that background shade. Now that we have the entire hairline done, this is gonna be a really natural money piece for her. We're gonna finish by adding some more teasy lights and adding in that foilayage, maintaining that depth with that diagonal placement of my lightener. So now I've married the front and the back section together. So we got one whole section here that we're working with, and we're gonna go in with some horizontal placement throughout this entire side. So essentially we have this little triangle pocket right here underneath. I'm gonna do that half V placement with my lightener. So bringing it up a little higher, closer to the face, and deeper on that interior. This is going to help maintain a lot of the depth on the top and on the inside, which is exactly what we wanna do. We want the focus of the brightness closer to her face. Now she does wear her hair down the center and just kind of naturally wherever it falls. But as we get a little higher up, I'm going to take my weaves a little softer, so not as chunky. So not only do you need to be mindful of the placement of your foil, but you also have to be mindful of the type of stitch you're adding in. So for this next section, because it's living a little closer towards the top, you can see my stitches are a lot smaller. And this horizontal placement is going to give me a blanket coverage. And even though we're maintaining a lot of the depth in the interior, we want that pop of blonde, but the subtlety of the highlights. This is the perfect technique for that. Overall, this technique should take you 20 to 30 minutes to apply. And what's great about this technique is you're still gonna charge at least an area placement for a fraction of the time. Each of my subsections are about a 1/2 inch thick. And just remember that your stitches are gonna get a little bit more softer and more subtle, so more into like the highlight, baby light zone as you get towards that top section. I'm completely done putting in all of her foils, and we got a lot of coverage with minimal foils. And I just wanted to show you this very top section here. So I left out a very tiny little sliver of her natural hair right in the center. It's a very soft zigzag. And to finish off the very top, these two foils are very soft, subtle little baby lights. So I'm gonna let her process room temperature. I'm gonna check her foils in about 20-25 minutes, and then we're gonna get ready for her final glaze. So it's been about 20 minutes, and we got her to a really nice level 9 here. I'm really happy with the amount of lift we achieved. And of course, her being virgin is super helpful, so we got a beautiful even lift at that. I'm shampooing her with Kenra Platinum Luxe shampoo. This is gonna give me lots of shine and hydration and prep her for her final toner. For her final toner, I'm using GV Rapid Toner at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer. I'm toning her in the bowl and just really starting off in the back at that root area where that blend line is at. I want a little bit more deposit there. And since this Demi-permanent color does deposit pretty quickly, I want to work pretty fast. And I don't really want this to process too long on the front zone, so I'm going to leave that entire section out for the very, very last. And as soon as I get this on the root area or on that blend line, I'm going to pull it through for just a minute or two. The benefit of using GV Rapid Toner is we're gonna get a controlled, warm, golden finish. So the V in GV is our violet base, so it's going to help control a lot of the brass, but still maintain that warm finish that we're after. The benefit of using rapid toners is that they process in 5 minutes or less. And they're also intermixable with a bunch of other shades. And overall, it's just gonna speed up your toner time at the bowl. So once I get that on, I'm just gonna comb this right on down. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring these front pieces right on back. And we're gonna get ready to apply this all over. And we're gonna process for just 2 minutes. For her style, I'm going to be using blow dry spray, and this is going to speed up her dry time because it has those evaporative silicones, and it's also going to give me a lot of shine and hydration. Next, I'm going to layer in Volumose Extra. This is going to give me a medium to firmer hold. So since she has a lot of hair, this is the perfect product to give me a lot of volume and lift at the root. Now I'm going to rough dry her till she's about 90% dry and just add in a little bit of round brushing throughout and get ready for her final curls. Now that her hair is all dry, I'm going to be using Kenra Color Maintenance Thermal Spray. This is going to give me the thermal protection that her hair needs. And because now she has colored hair, this is going to help protect the toner from fading. For her curls, I'm doing an 1.25 inch barrel. And we're going to be curling it mostly away from her face. This is going to create a lot of body and a really soft wave and curl. And this is the last step in this rich, warm brown foilayage technique. So I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you did and want to see more videos like these, make sure you check out our other videos right here on this channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend, and I will see you in the next video.